London is now home to more billionaires than any other city on the planet.
It is home. It's London. Who doesn't love London?
And like all of us, they need feeding.
This is edible gold and silver.
Has no flavour whatsoever.
But while we use the supermarket and millionaires use the Michelin Guide,
Hi, I'm here to see Jean-Philippe.
billionaires use a private network of luxury food suppliers.
We provide the most expensive coffee in the world. It's £300 per cup, and it's worth it.
Billionaires want what no one else can have.
These cost £5,000 per shot.
Wow!
That would be about £12,000.
Wow, impressive.
To survive in this new high-stakes market, they must be willing to go to any length to source the finest food and drink.
Every single bottle of this has been around the world in barrels lashed to the deck of a ship.
And satisfy the appetites of the world's most demanding clients.
The Middle Eastern market love a bit of bling.
I mean, I definitely have my salmon man who smokes his salmon and he plays live jazz music to it, and it makes the salmon taste better.
For me, go big or go home.
Laura King is Britain's largest importer of caviar. She's an expert at selling to the super rich.
I guess if I sold baked beans, I'd have a different clientele, but the people that I deal with are the wealthiest in the world, generally.
Over 25 years, Laura has supplied the world's most expensive food to classic establishments like Claridge's, Harrods, the Ritz, and even to the Queen.
She's fantastic.
But London is a city in transition. Old wealth is on the decline, and new money is pouring in. Over half of the capital's properties worth over £10 million are now owned by foreign money.
Of course, there's still old money, but more and more, I suppose, as that old money disappears, there's a lot of new money coming into London, and I think people want to spend it, and they want to spend it on the best things. You've got to try and keep ahead of the game.
To entice this new breed of clientele to her business, Laura's hosting a caviar tasting at Russian-owned Jewellery Theatre. Specialising in luxury diamond couture, it's a magnet for new, young, foreign wealth. Mahtab Jamali is an Iranian fashion designer, now residing in London.
The fact that there are a lot of billionaires or like fine kind of living people living in London or in England, it's just normal in a way.
And they aren't afraid to flaunt it.
Money comes, money goes, you know, but if you are living in a way that makes you truly happy, then do whatever you would like to do.
And when it comes to spending, they're in a league of their own.
It's the perfect dummy. The 18-karat white gold. It's £8,500. One of our best sellers.
It's not about the price you're spending on certain things, it's about how you feel with something. Everything in luxury is nice.
That's something I've never done. No, I've never.
I think the people who buy diamonds definitely are that same market that are probably going to be buying caviar. So we're tasting 4 caviars today. When we taste caviar, we always taste it on the back of our hand. And we do that so nothing impairs the taste. You just get the taste of the caviar.
You would not even use a gold spoon?
If you use gold or silver, it would oxidise. I mean, I haven't got any solid gold spoons, but
We can make it for you.
Yeah.
In Laura's world, when you want to win over new clients, diplomacy is everything, especially when presented with a dizzying mix of wealthy Iranians, Russians and Lebanese.
Beluga is the most expensive. Historically, Iran was always the best.
I grew up in parts of Russia, so I know about beluga. I don't know much about the rest. And I remember it's been very soft.
Sometimes people say to me, oh, we're doing a tasting, can we have Russian farm caviar? And I won't buy it because the quality is just so poor. It's awful.
It used to be the latest.
It's a very small farm in Belgium that I work with. They produce the best the best caviar, really. I think you'll be surprised in terms of how soft they all are. Take a spoon and then just dig into the middle and put it on the back of your hand. Please, please. Perfect.
Very soft.
That's how it should be. That's how it always should be. It's very good taste.
Beautiful. What's not good about it?
In top hotels, this 1.8 kilo tin of beluga can retail for £24,000.
Caviar is rare, so even farmed, you've got to wait 12 years before the beluga will be ready to produce the eggs. It's the rarity, it's the time it takes you, and that's what denotes the cost.
Next is the slightly cheaper Ossietra.
Go for it, go for it.
I like the texture of this one more.
Because it's firmer.
And I usually like more expensive things, so...
It doesn't matter who you are, everyone is going to be impressed by a caviar tasting because not everyone's done it. And it's unique, it's special, and of course it's incredibly expensive. And people like all that stuff.
As the world's wealthiest flock to Britain, the private jet industry is booming. London airports now handle almost 270 private flights every day. And ex-private chef Daniel Hume is the man who wants to provide their onboard meals.
London, for me, is now the ultra-high net worth capital of the world.
Africa is becoming a big market for us. We have a big Middle Eastern and Russian base.
The individuals flying on these aircraft, money is no longer an object for them.
We've seen bedrooms, cinemas, steam rooms. I know of one aircraft where they've had a glass floor put in so the owner can see his cars. I know of a few chefs that work on board where the owner, in the bubble of the 747, is decked out like a Bedouin tent and it has a goat roaster or a sheep roaster on board.
Owners can spend hundreds of millions of pounds on their private planes, so the last thing they want is second-rate food. Daniel supplies them with Michelin star quality meals to eat at 40,000 feet.
I think the private jet has to be one of the most challenging places in the world to produce high-end food.
If you're on a commercial airline, an economy meal is going to cost the airline roughly between £1 and £2 for that meal. Moving up to first class is going to cost between £4 and £10 maximum. For us, we're looking at average about £250 to £1,000 per head.
The bar for us is set very, very high because the individuals who we're serving only got there by demanding the best.
Let's get it onto trays and then we can start plating it, yeah? Let's go. We're gonna run out of time.
But Daniel doesn't just make high-end food. To accommodate his clients' demands, he's become a one-stop shop, sourcing anything they desire direct to their plane.
Hi Nina, it's Shalana calling from On Air Dining. How are you?
We will get you whatever you want, but you've got to pay for it. We charge concierge fees for a driver to go and get that product. We had one a couple of weeks ago where they wanted 25 Happy Meals.
Okay, I just need to order some mini white orchids.
We have clients who'll order extremely spicy curry.
If they could be wrapped in a banana leaf, please.
And then they'll order £2,000 bottles of Mouton Rothschild 98 and they'll swig that down. How they can taste it, I don't know. Everybody likes what they like.
In this world, we have to be very careful that the product delivered and the service delivered is absolutely on point every single time.
But even if you fly all over the world in your jet, it's still nice to be able to drop into your local bar.
With a chili.
Salvatore Calabresi is the barman behind Mayfair's Playboy Club, favoured watering hole of the super rich.
I have a multi-international clientele, from Middle East to Russian, aristocrat, billionaire, you name it. They want fine things that maybe, they can afford to have. And why not?
And to please his clients, Salvatore's been collecting rare and exclusive spirits his whole life.
The Sazerac de Forge 1805, 1824 Courvoisier. This is a Royer from 1865. Lincoln was shot in 1865. This is 1788, the year before the French Revolution, or the American Constitution. It is a very, very, very rare cognac. These cost £5,000 per shot. Let's say out of this bottle now there is about another 6 people could drink out of this bottle. Once it's gone, bang. So I'm very careful who I'm going to give it to, right? This is not a question of how much money you have. The integrity here is, do you deserve the experience?
Russian property tycoon Lev Loginov believes he does.
Well, I think it's important to have a taste of what world has to offer, because I never tasted anything that old. So.
£5,000 for a single shot. Is it worth it?
I guess yes. I always would be paying probably for it.
The appetites of Britain's new super-rich are growing. The UK's luxury goods market is currently worth £6.6 billion and is set to double in the next few years.
King's Fine Food, Holly speaking, how can I help?
Recently, certainly in the last year, people are buying more caviar, and individuals are definitely buying more caviar. We're seeing people buying larger quantities of caviar. Something's going on.
It's a far cry from when Laura King started selling caviar 25 years ago.
I didn't even like it. It took me 10 minutes to muster up the sort of strength to think I've got to eat this stuff. OK, Paul, I'll get you 6 jars. OK. Cheers, Paul. Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Now Laura has built King's into a family business.
My sister, Sally, who joined the business. When did you join, Sally?
July 2012. Yeah, it's another world, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a sort of family business because obviously my husband packs caviar.
I'm the slave. I'm freezing even in the summer.
But with London's modern elite creating a lucrative new market, Laura thinks the business needs a new plan of attack.
What about, have you got the balloons?
So her latest recruit is her 21-year-old daughter, Holly.
Where'd you get those from? God, they look really... £2.50?
H&M.
What, recently?
Yeah, like at the weekend. I thought they'd be nice for work. Bargain. I get it from you.
£2.50.
But this is only Holly's second job after leaving school.
Oh, OK, I am very sorry about that.
And she's got much to learn from her mum about selling the world's most expensive food.
Sometime this week or...
I probably first tried caviar maybe about 2 years ago, and she opened the tin and I was just like, I'm not going to lie, I felt a bit sick at first because it doesn't look that appealing. I honestly never thought that I'd go into caviar.
So this afternoon we're going to do this thing with this sort of high net worth Chinese chap. So I'll get you to spoon out the caviar on the back of the hand. So make sure you don't drop it or throw it.
I just remember last time when I was spooning it out on people's hands, I got confused with what was what.
Holly went to give him the caviar and spilt it all down it.
He didn't look very impressed, did he?
China is now minting more billionaires every year than any other country. To attract this new wealth to Britain, the Home Office is fast-tracking more residency visas for Chinese millionaires than any other nationality.
But I think the Chinese don't particularly know about caviar yet. So that's another challenge on the list. That's one Holly will be pursuing, I think.
I am quite a slow learner, but I think I've picked it up quite quickly. But I think that has got a lot to do with the fact that I'm learning from the best, so that helps.
Oh, sweet. The old money is being replaced with new money. I think with new money there's a lot more of it. Individual clients could spend £120,000 on caviar. It's a lot of money.
33-year-old Jing Wei was educated at Cambridge and Harvard in computing and finance. He's a very 21st century entrepreneur.
This is my daughter Holly.
This is Jing. Hi, I'm Holly. Oh, nice to meet you.
Do you like caviar?
To be honest with you, I'm very new to this.
Tell me, someone said to me that there is a Chinese proverb that if you eat fish roe, fish eggs, you'll be bad at maths.
Yes, how do you know that? Yeah.
Trust me, I know everything about China now. I've learned a lot about China. What do you do?
It's pretty new. It's in cryptocurrency. I'm not sure if you've heard of that.
It's Bitcoin.
And is it successful?
It is quite good. I mean, it took us a month from 0 to 0.7, 0.7 million US dollars.
Wow. A beluga sturgeon in the wild could be more than a ton in weight, 4 meters long. So that's the size of a sort of mini. I mean, it's massive. It's the most expensive food in the world.
I see.
And it's what they call an acquired taste.
That is very different from anything I've tried before.
That to a private individual would be about £12,000.
Well, impressive.
One hotel in London sells it for £14,000 a kilo that I supply.
I see. So I'd
It's a lot, huh?
buy from you directly then.
Much better. Yeah, you get a much better deal. Yeah. Please have. I suppose caviar stands for wealth, it stands for luxury, it stands for the best. Maybe it makes some people feel important. It makes them feel that they've got a lot of status.
Obviously, it is luxury food, but I personally think in China there are a lot of young Chinese couples. They might have Western-style weddings, so this might be a good fit.
Have you got a wedding coming up?
Probably.
Millionaire property investor Lev Loginov is about to drink the last drop of an 1811 cognac, Napoleon Grand Reserve.
Salvatore, how are you?
Very good.
Oh, nice to see you.
Nice to see you
Oh,
too.
please sit down. Oh, it's going to be a special day for you today.
I'm expecting a baby in the next few days, addition to the family. So for me, I would probably associate special memory now that I had this last shot of this cognac on 2 days, so a day before my baby was born.
The last drop of history.
Lucky him.
Wow. My hands are shaking because of this. This is the last shot of an historical bottle. Remember, only very few people out of the world have drunk up this bottle. So you actually truly finish a part of history. Something you will never be able to do for the rest of your life. And this is an extraordinary year.
1811 was Austria declared bankruptcy. They went bankrupt as a country on 1811.
Oh my God!
So,
so a true historical moment. You are drinking something that is truly irreplaceable. Okay. It's a symphony in a glass.
That's a special day.
There you go.
Thank you.
God bless you, my friend. Look how deep and rich is the color.
And the smell.
Which is
something special.
Yeah.
Very special. It's 200 years history. Let's close the chapter in history. Done. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Great experience. As I said before, for me, it's experience. It's going back in the history. It also creates memories. Like for me, it will be a special memory because of a child I'm expecting in the next few days.
As the rich get richer, their spending is escalating beyond belief. Top-end private jets are in higher demand than ever before. This brand new plane was custom built for its owner. It cost over £60 million and took 5 years to finish. Today, Daniel Hume of On Air Dining is on a research trip, and going on board a client's jet is something he rarely gets to do.
Oh, that's exciting. My brain's going. Beautiful aircraft. You've got the club lounges, you have the bedroom at the back. This is my client base. These are the people that I've spent 5 years developing and designing and growing my business. And this is my ideal kind of client.
But for Daniel, it's the flight attendant who is his most important point of contact.
We don't deal with the end passenger. For us, it's all about the flight attendant. The flight attendant is the client. They're the ones who have the control of what food is on board. And that relationship with us and them has to be absolutely seamless.
I think the worst thing for us is when somebody asks you for, something specific and you say, I'm sorry, I don't have it. In this line of industry, you just can't. I have used yogurt, for instance, on board that was sourced from a herd of cattle or cows that had a name. The cows had names, they had numbers, and that was important to the client. Yeah. They wanted to know that this specific yogurt came from this specific herd of cows.
If you're seeing the world from the eyes of someone who owns a private aircraft and a private yacht, you've seen most things. So having something that tells a really cool story, like food, makes things more interesting.
And knowing precisely what the modern billionaire wants means Daniel must set the highest standard.
We do not negotiate on produce. Now, every caterer and restaurant in the world will tell you they use the best produce. They're price conscious. We're not price conscious. We're in a side of the industry which is fantastic for my chefs is they can use whatever product they like, we just charge accordingly for it.
But creating top quality food from the finest produce is not easy at 40,000 feet.
When you're in the air, you lose about 50% of the flavour of salt. So when we design a dish, we look at making sure there's plenty of umami and strong flavours that can blast through the dryness on board.
It's not just the food's provenance and taste that have to be perfect. Presentation is key.
These are our squeezy bottles. Quite proud of these. These took me 18 months to find. They have the perfect squeeze. I'm quite perfectionist. I'm a little bit OCD when it comes to things like that.
But for all Daniel's attention to detail, it won't be him plating up on board.
Have you seen the list of attendees? You started cutting.
So he invites flight attendants to his base at Stansted to show them how to serve his culinary creations.
As you know, some of your clients are very, very particular on what they like and how they like things presented.
I think certainly on private jets, food is most definitely theatre. It's something for them to do to pass the time. Some clients, I flew one recently who wanted their cat to eat out of crockery, basically. So I set up a place for the cat as I would for the human passengers.
What I'm going to do is, which you're going to practice doing.
But even if you have one of Daniel's special squeezy bottles, plating up to look like a work of art isn't easy. Even on the ground.
Not doing so well.
That's very nice, very precise. You've got space on both sides there.
Most of the clients I've worked with personally have been billionaires or multi-billionaires.
So less is more.
And it gets quite frustrating sometimes because they'll ask you for something really random, like you've just left London and now you're in the middle of a snowy village in Russia and they want a Cadbury's cream egg. And there were millions of them where you just left, but now they want it today and you can't find a cream egg in Russia.
Fantastic. Brilliant.
You can't really say no. In a way, it's like they pay us to keep them happy, to make their life easy, and if they want something, they've got to have it.
Richard Hardwick and Dave Foster sell coffee, but not just any coffee.
We do something no one else does. We provide the rarest, most exclusive, most expensive coffee in the world. It's like the Rolls-Royce of coffees, really, or the Bugatti.
Bugatti, really.
Today, just a few doors down from Roman Abramovich on one of London's most exclusive streets, they're meeting a prospective new client.
Hi, how do you do?
I'm good. We're here to make you beautiful coffee.
Oh,
Millionaire artist and socialite Amanda Eliash.
what are you, magicians?
We are the wizards of coffee.
Are you?
We'll set it up here for you. No problem.
Yeah, you're about to be wowed.
David's our director of global experience, so he will make a very special cup of coffee. So we have 3 coffees that we offer, bespoke beverages. One is our Emerald, which is £1,000 a kilo, so about £10 a cup. And then we have one called Ruby, which is our signature coffee, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's so good. You can have that every morning. That's £60 a cup. And then we have the coffee that we're about to have, and this is the rarest coffee in the world. It's the KL Diamond. This is £325 a cup. And once you try it, it is worth it.
My goodness, I can't wait.
Deep in the Sumatran jungle, wild coffee bushes produce coffee cherries, which are foraged by a small mammal called a luwak.
It's like a little weasel cat, and and they live in the rainforest.
This is the little animal. Oh my God, he's adorable.
Run around and they come out at night and they just love eating the coffee cherries. They just love it. Every single coffee bean that's picked up, they treat it like a diamond because it's so precious to them.
That's fabulous.
Having selected the most succulent coffee cherries, the luwak eats them.
It's not bitter.
That's exactly what.
That's it.
That's exactly it.
Oh, so the reason why, as you said, that so good. There's no the acidity and no bitterness like you'd normally get, is because as it passes through their system, the enzymes actually reduce the acidity in the coffee bean. That's why it tastes so smooth.
Let me get this absolutely straight. Do they spit out the cherry?
No, it passes through their system. And
So they poo it out?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It goes through their system, and the next day we scoop them up, and then we dry them and clean them. We do that with every single bean.
It's absolutely crazy. No wonder it's so expensive. That is quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so rare.
Yeah,
it's
that's why
really because it's pure nature.
Yeah, nature at its finest. Yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to end a meal with. Why?
Yeah.
Life's too short for bad coffee.
And if there's one place you should never serve bad coffee, it's on a private jet.
I mean, the coffee is absolutely incredible. I've never tasted a flavour like it. I thought, wouldn't this be amazing if we could actually put these into desserts?
Daniel Hume's business promises to revolutionise food on private planes, so he's constantly under pressure to reinvent the dining experience.
This is edible gold and silver.
And what better way than to use the world's most expensive coffee to create the ultimate range of desserts?
Coffee is the most expensive product. It's a case of we're creating a dessert that
is a showcase of who we are as a brand.
To brainstorm the future of pudding, Daniel has brought together top mixologist Simon Weston from Pontoon Drinks, head chef Colin Barnett, and general manager Kevin Duxbury.
What are we looking at on the cost? The two most expensive things that we could use here are one of the 32 karat gold leaf, if we use that. If there's a platinum, that's obviously going to be more expensive. The other thing is a coffee. We know that the coffee is it £300 a cup?
The higher brew is £300 a cup.
Therefore, one tablespoon is 300 quid. I suppose the big question is how far do we want to go?
You know, ultimately we are a business and we need to, you know, make things commercially viable.
But this is, for me, go big or go home. I mean, this is really what this is about. Try this. This is linear aquavit.
Oh, yeah.
And every single bottle of this has been around the world in barrels lashed to the deck of a ship.
Last night about an ice cream that's the most expensive ice cream in the world because they get the water from the ice caps on the top of a mountain in Africa that the ice cap is mounting.
But the storyline behind that and the value in that because of the story is enormous.
I'm not sure whether that's going to get picked up by some of our customers.
No, I disagree.
Really?
Completely disagree. The modern millionaire and billionaire, if you like, the young entrepreneurial side of things that's what they're looking at.
It's about having just extraordinary provenance to the ingredients that are in there.
At the end of the day, guys, we're still a business and we've still got to make money.
If we're talking about a base cost of £500 to £600 with a 200%, with a times 4 200% markup on it, you're looking at £2,000 base just to create it using the world's most expensive coffee.
In the elite world of culinary one-upmanship, food suppliers must constantly raise their game. Justin Horn is a private chef to the super rich and to stars like Mick Jagger.
This is Wagyu. It's a breed of cow from Japan that is sometimes fed beer or sake, massaged and played music to, in order to improve the flavour. Very good beef. Very good beef.
When cooking for a private client, Justin has no budget. His only brief is to impress.
When you're cooking for the super rich, you've got to do more, you've got to do better. You want to provide the best of the best. I think it's great to be able to surprise them with things that they've never tried or can't even get hold of. It's nice to be able to deliver the unattainable.
And now his clients won't settle for anything less, which means Justin has become an expert in the rarest delicacies and extreme food.
There's one thing I've heard of called persebres, or the gooseneck barnacle, which I've been wanting to try out, and I'm suggesting to a client of mine next week, actually, for one of our dinner parties we're having. And I'm very much looking forward to surprising them.
But the unattainable can come at the highest price. Through the winter months, as unrelenting Atlantic swells batter the Galician coast, a small group of men risk their lives to harvest the local delicacy, persebres or gooseneck barnacles.
Siempre digo que el que no pasó miedo nunca en este oficio es un mentiroso.
These men, known as perseberos, use the simplest of equipment to secure themselves onto the rocks.
Pues este oficio es arriesgado porque te tienes que arriesgar para ganar más dinero.
The most highly prized persebres are the most dangerous to harvest, growing deep below the waterline.
Peligroso, donde más bate el mar. Hay que estar muy ágil y pchum.
It's estimated that each year 5 perseberos die harvesting this rarest of foods.
El peligro está en la conciencia de uno mismo, de un percebelleiro. Hay percebelleiros muy valientes, pero están metidos en el agujero.
On average, a persebero will earn €400 a day. But by the time these barnacles reach London, they can cost more per gram than gold. Far away at the other end of the food chain, London's luxury hotels are welcoming more wealthy tourists than ever before. Foreign visitors now spend more than £21 billion each year. Good news if you run an exclusive Mayfair hotel like Brown's.
Well, our guests are looking for the ultimate in luxury experience. They like the best of everything, and I suppose that includes caviar.
Lydia Forte is the daughter of Sir Rocco Forte and heiress to the multi-billion-pound Forte hotel empire. She's responsible for food and beverages at Brown's, and with new money in town, wants the finest caviar.
To land a big client like Brown's or the Forte Group would be fantastic for King's.
But Laura thinks it's time for daughter Holly to step up and pitch for the business herself. So she's brought her to a caviar farm in France to learn more about her precious product.
Are you going to hold it?
No, I'm not. I've got my best coat on.
No way. That's not
No way,
fair.
I say.
In 2006, it became illegal to catch wild sturgeon, and now all caviar is farmed. The fish are given an ultrasound to see if their eggs are ready to be harvested. If mature, the sturgeon are humanely killed and their eggs removed.
Gosh, it smells so fishy. They're like Play-Doh when you're a kid. It feels like that.
We will taste it if you want to taste that.
It's not a fishy. It's not fish taste. It's just nutty. It's quite. It's just one taste. Just nutty. That's the only way I can describe it.
One fish can produce £2,000 worth of caviar.
I've got much more understanding as to why the product is so expensive. I think I've just when I get home just got to put it to the test. Go out, do caviar tasting.
At Stansted Airport, Daniel Hume has decided to include the world's most expensive coffee in his new ultimate dessert experience, and has hired top pastry chef Sophie Gaxette to make it.
It is very special and exciting. I've never used so expensive ingredients in my whole life. From what I understand, it comes in James Bond suitcase, and it's a very, very important coffee and very expensive. Colin, do we have the little extract? I hope it tastes really what we pay for. Tan, 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 very exciting.
We do need to be very precise on what we're doing. We've got to try and find the balance where the coffee is still the star, but it's surrounded by some great supporting actors. 1, 2.
Each drop is precious.
3, Things for us that could go wrong is the coffee flavour completely disappears. 8, 9, 10.
Just putting a little syrup to make a caramel, and I'm going to drop a bit of this coffee essence in it to see if it would take the flavour as well and how much I need to put in. While nobody's looking, I can use a little bit more, so...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm trying to make a statement with these desserts that we are a company who thinks differently. At this level is demand for the best. There is nothing else.
In central London, Holly is on her way to her first solo pitch of King's Caviar to the multi-billion-pound Forte Hotel Group.
To get to supply a client like Lydia Forte, to be able to get into, you know, all of her hotels and restaurants would be absolutely phenomenal. It is quite intimidating, yeah.
Ever since I was a little girl, I can pretty much remember loving caviar. My grandmother, and every year she used to do these amazing Christmas drinks. And one year they found my cousin and I, aged 3.5, sitting under a coffee table in the corner of the sitting room, having polished off half a plate of the caviar canapes. So yeah, I think I've always liked it quite a lot.
It'll be brilliant, and great to do it to a woman who's sort of taking over the mantle of Fortes, and obviously long term that's what Holly's going to be doing with King's. And similar sort of situation, really. I think the thing about Holly is she's far more coherent than I am, really. And
what does that mean?
So,
yeah, Beluga, yeah.
Osiettra.
Yeah. Holly.
Lydia.
Nice to meet you. Want to take a seat? What we're going to do is we're going to start with the Beluga, which is this one here.
Yeah.
And the Beluga, it can weigh up to a ton in weight.
She's spent 8 months in the business, and now is the time when she's going to start to go out and to visit customers.
It should taste quite creamy, walnutty, very subtle.
There is a new generation of wealth coming up, so for Holly and for the business to get into that is just fantastic.
This is Osiettra, the way it looks.
Thanks.
I've definitely got some big shoes to fill, but hopefully I'm getting there slowly.
Delicious.
I mean, would you consider doing sort of like a co-branded sort of Rocco Forte own label 10-gram caviar? Or
Yeah,
would that be
we could
something
definitely
you'd be
talk about it. I
interested
think
in?
that would be really interesting for the
Yeah.
group as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the tasting. It's delicious.
My mum, she always said to me, in about 5 years, I'm going to be on a beach in Barbados with my sunglasses on. I'm going to throw my phone in the sea and I'm not going to come back. But I can't see her retiring anytime soon.
How did it go?
I think it went really badly.
She said you were really good.
What was it about those two? I said they're both Barry.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
No, that's golden starting.
Yeah,
And then did you
exactly.
rectify?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I need to sort of swat up a lot more.
Well, it's your first one, isn't it? Rome wasn't built in a day, was it? I'm really proud of you, Holly. And I bet she has made a sale, so it's perfect.
Holly is now officially a King's Fine Food sales executive and is building her own network of affluent young clients.
I think the thing that I've found most shocking is how, like, so many people sort of spend so much money on food. It's just, it's mind-blowing, but I guess if it's what you want, then you're willing to spend whatever and you've got the money, then there's nothing stopping you.
After months of research and almost £20,000 spent on development, Daniel is finally ready to unveil his trio of desserts.
There is a level of trying to understand and get into the super rich mindset. The individuals flying on these aircraft, money is no longer an object for them.
My only concern with the plating on this one will be these.
It's not about the money anymore. It's about the provenance of what you're eating.
Each dessert incorporates the world's most expensive coffee, sourced from the Sumatran jungle, where it's been eaten and excreted by an Asian palm civet cat.
That's how people want to eat nowadays. And I think that's what we want to create.
The top-end diamond dessert is made from Malaysian coconut milk blended with Madagascan vanilla and a Kopi Luwak coffee sphere infused with vermouth, topped with 24-carat gold. It will retail on board for over £400 a plate. Tasting the desserts are two of Daniel's biggest clients from leading private jet operator Gamma Aviation. Their clients are some of the wealthiest people in the world.
So is this the world's most expensive dessert?
It will be one of the world's most exclusive desserts. In food terms, you can put it there with, you know, your Rolls Royces and your elite jewellery.
Has anybody had a taste of it yet?
We are experimenting on it.
It's amazing.
That is good.
This in itself, you get the real flavour of how the coffee actually tastes, the dark mousse.
That is an amazing dish. Just understanding that sort of level of craftsmanship that goes into it is going to be key to having this in the air. Yeah. Food tastes better when you've got the story. It's as simple as that. And this tastes amazing already, but imagine once you've got the theatre, once you've got the story. Brilliant.
Do you think there are clients that will be open for paying for it?
There's definitely a market for it, and there'll definitely be people interested in it.
Well, this end of the industry, right at the top end, I would put it less down to showing off and more down to how people want a story.
Perishable goods.
The bigger you can make that story and the more elaborate and the more interesting, the more they like it.
Justin Horn's Persebes have arrived, fresh from the churning waters of the Galician coast.
They're like the prehistoric dinosaur fingers. It's crazy that people die so someone can have it on their plate. So I think for some clients that would be a good dinner table story.
Nowadays people are buying more than just a plate of food. The story behind it is massively important.
People always want to have a one-upmanship at their dinner parties, and they like to impress their guests. So these, I think, would do the job.
Everybody's looking for that thing that's a little bit different.
Surprisingly good, actually.
That's never been done before, never been seen before.
Next week we're doing a wedding with 200 gold hot dogs.
Everybody's looking for what's next.
How much could you charge for that plate, do you think?
I don't know, maybe £100 a plate? £100 a plate? You're buying the story that goes with it. Where will it end? I don't know. I can't say. Giant octopus, giant squid.
If a client came to you and said, you know, I want to eat giant squid, would you take it on?
If a client asked me to make giant squid, yeah, if I could get hold of it.